The Celtics season just ended about 24 hours ago, but this offseason is about to be insane, and there's some major buzz created at the NBA Draft Combine, as according to reports from Kevin O'Connor, the Boston Celtics interviewed Cooper Flagg at the Draft Combine. They also interviewed Trey Johnson out of Texas, who's projected anywhere from number 3 overall to likely a top 5 pick after his stock rose this season. But obviously, Cooper Flagg, and rightfully so, is going to be the name that is catching all of the eyeballs, because the great front office that the Celtics have with Brad Stevens, they're not just there to waste their time. They're not just having a Cooper Flagg conversation if it meant absolutely nothing. Now, the Mavericks have made it very clear they are going to stick and pick Cooper Flagg at number 1 overall, and unless the Celtics offer Jason Tatum, which they absolutely aren't going to do, then they won't be trading him to the Celtics. But maybe it could be something like a long-term play down the road. They're trying to know the guy, so when they can revisit things, they have their information right on him. Cooper Flagg, he's from Maine. He grew up a Celtics fan, so there could be some interest down the road. But I think maybe the more realistic option could be a Trey Johnson out of Texas. And when you're talking about realistic, this would still require a blockbuster trade, because obviously the Celtics are picking at the way end of the first round. But the Celtics have a lot of fascinating trade pieces this offseason. Pieces that can be of interest to teams like the San Antonio Spurs or the Houston Rockets that are picking higher in this year's draft. As Jason Tatum, he might miss all of next year. He's untouchable regardless. Derek White, he's on the verge of untouchable. Same with guys like Jaylen Brown and Peyton Pritchard. Those are guys that you really wouldn't expect them to trade. But when you're talking Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, they could absolutely be expendable. But could they throw in a Jaylen Brown, a Peyton Pritchard, a Derek White in various trades if it meant that they can get a top pick in this year's draft? And what that can essentially do, it can help them with the luxury tax. It can alleviate some concerns of living in the second apron, because that is just unrealistic. It can give them a year to kind of reset when Jason Tatum is recovering from his Achilles injury, and then you can have a young core of Jason Tatum, one of the top picks in this year's draft. Obviously, like I said, Cooper Flagg is the name that's getting the attention, but what if it ended up being a Dylan Harper? If they made a crazy trade with the San Antonio Spurs, involved Jaylen Brown, I don't know how that would work out. Or if it ends up being Trey Johnson out of Texas and they make an aggressive move into the top 5 to 10 picks on draft night, then these are some fascinating possibilities that we could start talking about, because the Celtics, they're going to make changes one way or another this offseason. Now the question is, what are those changes going to look like?